Okay, so we are in Matthew 10. In the last chapter, chapter 9, Jesus announced that the harvest was plenteous, but the laborers few. So pray to the Lord that he will send laborers into his harvest. And we open into chapter 10, with Jesus calling to him his laborers, his 12 disciples, and giving them power over unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. He commands his disciples not to go to the Gentiles, but rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to announce that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He commands them to heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, and cast out devils, and tells them not to amass any money, nor any extra clothes or shoes. And in whatever house they happen to enter, to salute it, and let their peace come upon it. And if the house is unworthy, to let their peace return to them. And when they depart from an unworthy house, they should shake off the dust from their feet. He announces that those cities that deny them, their fates will be worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore as wise as serpents and harmless as doves. He warns his disciples of many future persecutions, but that they shouldn't be afraid, and that they shouldn't worry about what they'll say to their accusers, because it's the Holy Spirit that will speak through them. Fear them not, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed. And fear them not that kill the body, but aren't able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Jesus tells them that he hasn't come to spread peace on earth, but the sword, to set family members against one another, because it's not the love of family that matters, but the love of God. And he that doesn't take his cross and follow him is not worthy of him. Those that find their life will lose it, and those that lose their life for his sake will find it. In chapter 11, many hidden truths are revealed. We see these visually represented as the pyramids, which represent mystery. And it's the first of 3 sets of mysteries for chapters 11, 12, and 13, where pyramids are present in all 3 of these cards, and only these 3 cards in the entire Minor Arcana. So in this chapter, chapter 11, we're presented with the first of these mysteries, the mysteries of the Father and the Son. It begins with John the Baptist, who's heard from prison of the works of Christ, and he sends 2 of his disciples to ask him if he really is the Christ, or if they should look for another. So Jesus tells them to relay to John of what they are seeing and hearing, that the blind receive their sight, and that the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he who shall not be offended in me. When John's disciples leave, Jesus begins speaking to the people about John the Baptist, asking them who they went out in the desert to see. A man in soft clothing who really should be in king's houses? Or did they go out into the desert to see a prophet? He is more than a prophet, he assures them. He is the one of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. And blessed is he who shall not be offended in me. Among men born of women, he is the greatest. Yet he that is the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Jesus then chastises his generation, because John the Baptist, who neither eats nor drinks, they call a devil, yet the Son of Man, who eats and drinks, they call him a glutton, and a friend of sinners. But he says wisdom is justified of her children. Later Jesus chastises the unrepenting cities in which he did his works, like Chorazin and Bethsaida and Capernaum, prophesying that their fates will be worse than the foreign nations of Sodom and Tyre and Sidon. Jesus prays to the Father and thanks him for hiding these truths from the wise and prudent. Yet he reveals them unto babes, meaning the innocent. He tells the people that he knows the Father and that the Father knows him, and he will give rest to all those who labor and are heavy laden. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Chapter 12 reveals more deeply hidden truths, the second set of mysteries that is being revealed out of the 3 sets. Mysteries that mostly speak of the Sabbath and of the soul. In this chapter, the Pharisees pounce. The Pharisees accuse Jesus' disciples of plucking ears of corn from the cornfield on the Sabbath, but Jesus reminds them of when David ate of the showbread when he was on the run from Saul, and also how, in the law, the priests profane the Sabbath and are blameless. The Son of Man, he assures them, is Lord even of the Sabbath. Later that day, because Jesus healed a man's withered hand on the Sabbath, the priests began to plot on how to destroy him. Jesus, sensing this, goes on to heal his multitude of followers, fulfilling another of Isaiah's prophecies, stating that a chosen one will subtly go to the Gentiles and show judgment and earn their trust. The people start saying that he's the son of David, but the Pharisees claim that he works for the devil. Knowing their thoughts, Jesus says that a devil cannot cast out devils, only God can, that a city or house divided against itself shall not stand. He tells them of what happens when an evil spirit gets cast out, that the evil spirit wanders through dry places, finding no rest, and the spirit then decides to return to the body. And here we see the representation of body and spirit with the horse and man visually. The horse representing the body and the man representing spirit. And so the spirit then decides to return to the body and finds it uninhabited. More than that, it's been swept and furnished. Basically, it's perfect living conditions. So then the spirit invites 7 other spirits, even more evil than himself, so that person that they're dwelling inside of is now even worse off than he was before that initial devil was cast out. After this, Jesus is told that his mother and brothers are waiting to speak to him, but he answers, saying that these right here, those before him, those who follow him and his Father, these are his mothers and brothers.